College is conducting a seminar, international session by respected Professor Johan D. Tevenier on the topic Engineering Ethics, Maintaining Society Trust in the Engineering Profession. As it says, a day without a prayer is a day without a blessing, and a life without a prayer is a life without a power. So let us all feel the presence of Almighty. To make you feel warm and cherish your presence, I invite Ms. Roslyn C. Peter, Staff Secretary of Mahajubi Training College for the welcome speech.
Hello everyone. Warm good morning to everyone present here. It's indeed a great pleasure to be amidst this August gathering. Honorable Chief Guest Professor Johan D. Tevenier, respected Assistant Manager, Reverend Dr. Shiju Titipilli, Principal, Reverend Dr. Chaco Chairman, dear teaching and non-teaching staff and dear prospective teacher educators of Mahajubi family. I am excited and feel blessed to get opportunity to address all of you present here. On behalf of Mahajubi family, I proudly welcome you all for the international seminar on engineering ethics, maintaining society's trust in the engineering profession. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining this international seminar. I feel great pride to say that this international seminar has been organized by our college for the third time. The college organizes such seminars to enlighten the young minds and promote the participation of students at all levels. The fragrance of flowers spread only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of a person spread in all directions. On the behalf of Mahajubi family, I cordially invite our chief guest, respected Professor Johan D. Tevenier, who has been shining in the field of academics and research and broke the boundaries of excellence with great spirit towards profession. It is a great honor to have him here, dear Professor. Johan D. Tevenier is Professor of Theological Ethics. He is the Director of Ethics at Arenberg, Science, Engineering and Technology Group, University of Louvain, Belgium. He served as an academic secretary, Vice Dean for Education at the Faculty of Theology and Religious Studies for 13 years, from 1996 to 2002, and from 2005 to 2008 and 2014 to 2018. And as a Vice Dean for International Relations for 2 years from 2012 to 2014 and as a Dean for 4 years from 2018 to 2022. He teaches courses in Christian ethics, personhood, environmental ethics and bioethics, mainly to theology students and introductory courses in Christianity and ethics to engineering and bioengineering students. With this brief background, I would welcome our chief guest, Professor Johan D. Tevenier, Professor of Theology and Ethics, University of Louvain, Belgium, for sharing his views on this pertinent subject. We are very fortunate to have him with this morning as a chief guest. We extend an affable welcome to you, dear Professor. The feeling of fulfillment comes from doing something for another. The feeling of fulfillment comes from the exertion of time and energy for someone else. The quote above is very much fitting to our respected father, Shiju Chiklipilli. I warmly and respectfully welcome our respected Assistant Manager, Reverend Dr. Shiju Chiklipilli, to assist your program. We are really blessed to have an Assistant Manager like you. We extend an affable welcome to you, Father. One tree can start a forest, one word can frame a goal, one candle can wipe out darkness. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the need of others is an art of principle. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes a special one by the equality of his action and integrity of his intent. The quote above is very much fitting to our principal, Reverend Dr. Chaku Chiravan. You are our leader. You show motherly love, fatherly confidence. Your endless care, guidance and support prove that you are a great leader. We are really blessed to have a principal like you. With a thankful heart, we welcome you, Father. I welcome Ms. Angel C., Assistant Professor of Education, to deliver Prophet Dinner. I welcome you, ma'am. No duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. I welcome Mr. Johnson Dickey, Assistant Professor in Philosophy, for proposing a vote of thanks. I welcome you, sir. The teacher who is indeed wise does not bid you enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your mind. We take this opportunity to honor and welcome our dear teachers who chisel and shape our lives and make us to be a good citizen of this society. Your hard working brings out the best in us. You unfold our hidden talents and creativity. Dear teachers, undoubtedly, your sense of commitment, sacrificial services, immense patience, responsibility play a key role in our growth. Undoubtedly, you are the role models. We welcome you, dear teachers, with our grateful hearts. Behind this success are great people who do common work commonly and commonly well. We would like to welcome our non-teaching staff for their continual and cooperative support, who work hand in hand with us to make us feel right, move a mile towards this great occasion. We welcome you, dear non-teaching staff. Children are the most valuable resource and it's best hope for the future. Yes, dear friends, you are the gifts of God, precious pearls of this society and building blocks of a strong nation. The institution and its meaningful activities revolve around you. You become the center of everything. Your cuteness, kindness, innocence, discipline and uniqueness decorate this great institution. Dear friends, you have proven that this seminar is not happening by luck. It's our hard work and perseverance that make this occasion vibrant and colorful. A very friendly and lovely welcome to you, friends. I hope that all of you will have this day very much productive and interesting discussions. I sincerely wish this international seminar has great success, not only as a great opportunity to share knowledge and experience in engineering ethics, but also the beginning of long and fruitful cooperation among teacher educators related to the most meaningful and worthwhile task for teaching and training among the who will shape our future. I again extend my warm welcome to everyone present here for this international seminar. I hope you all find this seminar highly engaging, fruitful and beneficial for your future venture and will have a great time ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Ms. Angel C., Assistant Professor in Education, for the prior reading.
Good morning, everyone. Jahan Vitania is Professor of Theological Ethics. He is Director of Ethics, and he served as Academic Secretary, Vice Dean for Education at the Faculty of Theology and Religious Studies for 13 years, from 1996. as Vice Dean for International Relations for 2 years and as Dean for 4 years. He teaches courses in Christian ethics, personhood, environmental ethics, and bioethics, mainly to theology students, and introductory courses in Christianity and ethics to engineering and bioengineering students. His research interests focus on fundamental modern theology, especially the history of the personalist tradition, the distinctiveness of Christian ethics, environmental ethics, evolutionary biology and ethics, and the use of scripture in ethics. He is also specialized in 3 fields of applied ethics: food ethics, engineering ethics, and animal ethics. He published recently on Ronaldo C, The History of Personalism, Ecology, Theological Anthropology, the debate between C. Taylor and M. Foucault on authenticity, the rights of future generations, and the question if evolutionary biology corrodes personalist ethics. Personalism and the natural rules of morality in questioning the human Fordham University. He edited several books on peace ethics and published in Dutch books on animal welfare, food ethics and religion, and Christian tradition. At the moment, he is preparing an English textbook on Christian ethics. He is an editorial board member of Loan Studies and Swiftwood Theology, and an editorial member of the Journal for Agricultural and Environmental Ethics and Ethical Perspectives. He is a member of several ethical committees with regard to laboratory animals, dual use and misuse, and represents the faculty in several university committees.
Now with a very warm heart, I invite our soul of our Mahajubi family, our own principal, Reverend Dr. Chako Chirmal, for the presidential address.
Very pleasant good morning to all of you. Respected resource person, Professor Johanna Tavernier, Professor of Theological Ethics, University of Louvain, Belgium, Reverend Dr. Shiju Chichilapulli, our Assistant Manager, and teacher, Johnson sir, my colleagues, students, Reverend sisters. It is indeed a great occasion for us to attend an international seminar organized by IQAC of our college. I would like to introduce our college to our resource person, Professor Johan de Tavernier. Mahajubilee Training College is a self-financing minority educational institution offering both M.Ed and B.Ed courses, affiliated to University of Calicut, run by Archdiocese of Trichy, sanctioned by NCTE and accredited by NAC. In the year 2002, we started our college, and this year we are celebrating Bicentennial Jubilee. We are privileged to hear the knowledge of great personality, Professor Johan de Tavernier, who is well-known theologian, upholder of ethics, expert in engineering, science and technology fields. I wish you all joyful, fruitful, knowledgeable time ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father. Next, I invite our guiding star of our Mahajubi family, Reverend Dr. Shiju Chitrapalli, Assistant Manager of Mahajubi Training College, for the inaugural address.
Professor Johan Tavernier, respected Principal Reverend Dr. Charco Chairman, Staff Secretary Ms. Goswin, Ms. Angel Johnson sir, my dear friends, sisters, non-teaching staff, my dear students. It's with immense pleasure, gratitude and proud I stand before you to inaugurate this international seminar by Professor Johan Tavernier. He was the former Dean of the Faculty of Theology in Leuven where I made my higher studies. And this is the reason why I told you that I am very proud to stand before you, because he is my professor and we had very much relations when we were there, because he was a very good person. That means in Leuven we have so many renowned professors, but there are very few who are loved by the students, especially by the foreigners, and very especially by Indians. So Professor Johan Tavernier is one of them, one of the very few who loved the students. And for us, it was a refuge. He was a refuge in Leuven. When we reached in Leuven for the first time, he used to meet we people, Indians, especially because he had so many Indian students with him. So he can very easily understand our feelings, our loneliness, our difficulties in Leuven in a foreign land, especially with regard to culture, because most of the students are priests and sisters. So the culture is a shocking experience for priests and sisters when they reach Leuven. So he is the person who can console us, guide us, lead us, and also he understands us, cares us. So in every realm he is really a guardian for us in Leuven. So we everyone address him as beloved professor, not just respected for like that, but beloved professor, because he is. And that's why I had the courage to approach him to arrange such a seminar on a short period. You know, just last week I met him in Miripara Seminary and discussed about the seminar. And he was very happy to come over here to give a lecture. And we understood the problem, that is, he had not enough time to prepare a new subject. So I told him, no problem, our students will be very much happy to have you in our midst. So he is ready to come, and today at 9 o'clock I was searching him in the refectory of the Mary Mother Seminary, and then I went to his room. But when I just looked from his room, he was waiting at the portico. At sharp 9 o'clock, he was at the portico. So that is the practice of our professor. And whenever we meet him, he always speaks to us to the heart and speak to us from the heart. So it is very easy for us to interact with him. And you will understand throughout the lecture here going to happen that he is how much lovable and how much appreciable. So I don't want to prolong my inaugural address. Just want to say one word regarding this lecture, because it was my dream when I came to this institute and I was discussing with Chapachan what should be the future of this institute. And it was my dream. I suggested to Chapachan that we have to make this institute, this B.Ed college, an education hub. That means everyone should appreciate, everyone should see Mahajubilee in order to have in order to clear their doubts, or to have some credible or some valuable articles or scientific researches. So for that purpose we began the synergy, and full credit goes to Chapachan, because since as I just asked him to do something like that, he all of a sudden in 1 month's time he organized this synergy, and already we finished 12 presentations, many presentations, and next week we will publish all those articles as a journal. So that's a very great thing, and I appreciate that. And the next step, I was thinking of what to do to make this a notable institute. Then I knew that Professor Tavernier is coming to Mary Mada and he is giving lecture in several places. And all of a sudden, without consulting anyone, I just approached him and he was very happy to come over here. And this is a golden step that we put forward in order to make this institute much more notable among other institutes, because in no other institutes they have this kind of opportunity to interact with an international figure. He is simply sitting amidst us just as an ordinary man, but he is not just that ordinary. He is internationally renowned professor, especially on ethical matters. So, Professor, I am really proud of you to be here, and I thank you in my personal way that you are here, and we expect from you a very good. We have already, since our students are not familiar with the international figures, so we have already distributed to them. They have just gone through that and they will ask questions, I hope. Anyway, we hope that this will be an enriching program for both of us. You can also understand the students here, and we can just gain something from you in our efforts to become good teachers. So I thank you in my personal way. It's not official thank, but I personally thank you very much because you are ready to come here in 1 week's notice. Thank you. ഞാനിത് പറയുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളോട് മാത്രമായിട്ട് പറയാം. ഞാനിത് പറയുമ്പോൾ പ്രത്യേകതയുണ്ട്. സാധാരണ ഇവരൊക്കെ നേരത്തെ കൂട്ടി ഒരു മാസം 1 വർഷം മുമ്പ് കൂട്ടിയിരുന്ന പരിപാടിയൊക്കെ വരാറുള്ളൂ. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ കാര്യമായിട്ട് താങ്ക് യു പറയുന്നത്. ഇത് ഒരാഴ്ച കൊണ്ട് പറഞ്ഞു പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു പേഴ്സണൽ റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പാണ്. ഓക്കെ, by these words I want to conclude and I declare that this seminar is open and we are coming to light the dance.
Thank you all the dignitaries on the stage. Now it's time for Vikti Panjaya. We are honored to have Professor Johan D. Tavernier, Professor of Theological Ethics. Professor is the Director of Ethics and teaches course in Christian Ethics, Personalhood, Environmental Ethics and Bioethics. And so on the achievement follows as we all have heard from Andrew Miss. Now we have the most awaited event of the year. For which I proudly invite Professor Johan D. Tavernier for this seminar session. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much for the very kind words of introduction. Not so much needed, but I'm happy to be here on the invitation of from a principal and the staff. It's nice to meet you, sisters and members of the teaching staff. And also, of course, I'm here to say something about I tried to say something about engineering ethics and at the same time also something about teaching ethics. I will try to about 20-25 minutes and then we go further with questions. So, there are not many professions for which society is putting a lot of trust in you. Among them, I prepared the lecture, as you have seen, for engineers, but the same could be said for medical doctors, and the same could be said for the teaching profession. You should be proud. This is engineering. You see in the background, a construction of a building. You are not constructing buildings, but you are, let us say, training teachers to teach about mathematics, to teach about physics, to teach about natural sciences. Construction, as you know, is all about physics. You should know, if you construct something, it should be safe. There is a kind of growth in the profession. And for sure, let us say, training teachers in engineering, training teachers in mathematics and so on, it's about it's right or it's wrong, it should be very precise. This is one of the characteristics, let us say, of the teaching profession. I used in this short presentation a report recently published in February 2022. I used for the Engineering College that report published by the Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK. In its introduction, it says, and the same could be said about teaching, we are bound by a moral code of ethical behavior to act in a way that upholds the highest standards expected by the public and to ensure that their safety is paramount, whether in designing bridges or skyscrapers, nuclear power stations, zero-emission vehicles, or artificial intelligence technologies. In a similar way, you could say about teachers' training that the public is expecting high standards from teachers to ensure that their safety is paramount. The children, the pupils are given to you. You have to train them, and they should become reliable teachers. It's a huge challenge. The 2022 report shows that opinion surveys indicates that the engineering profession, and I guess the same could be said about the teaching profession, is generally respected by the public. But the report also says we cannot and must not be complacent. Ever higher expectations from society towards the engineering profession and new advances in technology also affecting the teacher's profession require us to continually evaluate how ethical behaviors should improve and evolve over time. The central point of, and it's quite remarkable, of the Royal Academy for Engineering in the UK, the central point is that they focus on ethics, the idea that ethics builds trust. And I want to say the same about teaching. The act of engineering, teaching, as a profession that demonstrates ethical behavior in its decision making, from the very technical level to the strategic. But often, of course, there are tensions between profit making, profitability, sustainability and safety that engineers seek to be aware of and need to balance. You are training people who will function, not always in schools, but who will function, who take up professions, training people who are training students, let us say, who will become active in a business and management environment. And they should be prepared. They should be prepared for the fact that there is a kind of tension when they arrive in a business environment, a tension between profitability, sustainability and safety. However, there have been some important questions posed in recent years, and social media has amplified that public scrutiny. For engineers, I could give the example. If you teach, you will know about it, people in, let's say, preparing people to become a teacher in techniques or in technology. A famous example, which you all know, is the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft crashes, which were caused, official report, by technical design flaws, faulty assumptions about pilot responses and management failures, which played an instrumental and causative role in the change of errors. The final report says it's a cultural issue across the construction sector, which can be described as a race to the bottom, caused either through ignorance, indifference, or because the system does not facilitate good practices. Maybe we should indeed, or just put it out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The mic off. Yeah. That will work. Kind of interference. Alright. Have to use this mic. Oh, but it's not enough. Fantastic. Yeah. Does it work? Yes. Okay. Then you have to put it off. Yeah. So that that can be used for the questions. So you see, there is a lot of let's say, what was the problem with the Boeing 737 MAX? The problem was that the engineers, some engineers, were not agreeing to commercialize yet the plane. Not enough testing, not sure enough, not, let us say, not sure about the safety procedures. But the business manager of Boeing was saying, we have here a new airplane, an aircraft, we could make business, we could make profit, we were the first one, such a big engine, let us say that will, and indeed, thousands and thousands have been sold, bought by companies. But it came out that, let us say, the safety procedures were not respected. Other questions, with many more questions will come up, pop up. ones with the advances of technology. Other questions for the people in mathematics, the potential for algorithms and internet search machines to influence our thoughts on the world, sometimes to the detriment of others, for example by embedding structural inequalities. It is already a problem. Issues arising from the testing of facial recognition technology, which most white mirror images and the extent of the designer's folks' responsibility for technological bias. You know that facial recognition technology is used by China, for instance, to infringe the right to privacy, one of the human rights, and so on and so on. Let us say, every new questions are coming up. The use of autonomous systems that will make safety critical decisions, such as those being developed by autonomous vehicles or drone technology or whatever, let us say, for which physics and mathematics are important. But drones could be used for civic purposes. Drones could also be used for military purposes. It depends. You have to be careful. You should behave in a responsible way. The young people should be educated because, let us say, by 2030, by 2040, there will be much more technology. It's an ever new challenges, so to say, because they should become educated to train themselves, younger people, in taking up these societal challenges. So this is engineering, this kind of robots, technology. Okay. Again, ethics build trust. An analogy could be made with the now accepted centrality of health and safety considerations in engineering decision making. Embedding ethical culture and practice in the engineering or in the teaching profession would embrace other important professional behaviors, such as operating sustainably, inclusively, and with respect for diverse views. A greater visibility of an ethical teaching culture by the whole of society would help ensure that teachers retain society's trust. That's what the report is saying. Properly addressing the health and safety aspects of engineering, that was, let us say, the case 20 years ago. Be it in design, operation, maintenance, end-of-life decommissioning is now a cornerstone of engineering practice. These changes came about through a combination of legislation to set rules and training that serve to shape positive behaviors. Today, three things is mentioned in the report. Much more emphasis is given to sustainability, of course. Sustainability is now being more actively addressed by engineers, owing to the greater awareness of climate change, and particularly by younger generations who will reap the consequences of inaction. Inclusivity is also a point. You know, it's the opposite with us, that is the engineering profession. Not so much the teaching profession, but the engineering profession is male-dominated in Europe. And we try to get in more female engineers. That's also something which is of importance when you train people, so to say, keep an eye on exclusivity. And the last one is to build a key goal of the Royal Academy of Engineering is to harness the power of engineering to build a sustainable and exclusive economy that works for everyone. The so-called ID, in Christian terms, of the common good. That's important. A few examples of engineering. Maybe the last and the central point, so to say, of which could be applied to the teaching profession, or the ethical standards the report is mentioning. In order to ensure that the public has confidence that the profession acts ethically and that teaching professionals work to enhance the well-being of society, there is a need to maintain and promote high ethical standards and challenge unethical behavior. And they give 4 pillars. The first one, honesty and integrity. This is not only for a professional engineer, but also for a teacher, central characteristic. Respect for life, law, environment, and public good. Accuracy and rigor, and leadership and communication. I prepared one slide per item, so to say. The first one on honesty and integrity. Teaching professionals, just as engineering professionals, have a duty to uphold the highest standards of professional conduct, including openness, fairness, honesty, and integrity. Speaking in a trustworthy manner, being reliable, being aware, or let us say, how your work is affecting others, respect for privacy, respect for rights and reputations, confidentiality for engineers, declaring conflicts of interest, avoid rivalry. This is something you have to learn to young people as teachers, so to say. It's very crucial that they avoid, let us say, that they are trained in a kind of robustness with regard to bribery when they later come in the public sphere. Avoid improper influence. These are characteristics which are very much from which society is looking to teachers to teach this kind of things to young people. Respect for law, life, environment, and public good. I do think that there is a duty to obey all applicable laws and regulations and give due weight to facts. When, let's say, I'm a theologian, but you know, if you are trained, you have a background, you have an undergraduate in physics or in mathematics, we have faith, but you need evidence. You should be aware of the fact that those are two different ways of speaking about reality. And it's very much of importance. So when we deal with science and faith, science is evidence-based. Science is evidence-seeking. Through error, through trial, through laboratory research. You may not say that you have found a solution unless it's proved. Because there is a very specific methodology, and the people who have a background in sciences know that the methodology should be followed in a rigorous way. You should learn. Young people are expected to learn lots. It's not about fake news. It's about something which is proven. It's something that there must be evidence for it. And does you have a different opinion than a theologian has when you speak about truth or trust in truth. The two are equally important, but you should be aware of the fact that there is a distinction to make. And for young people you are educating, it's also very much of importance. You have to hold paramount the health and the safety of others and draw attention to hazards. This is for engineers. Recognize the importance of physical and cybersecurity data protection. This comes close to computer sciences, data ethics, data responsibility, personal information, respect for the personal dignity of people. Protect the quality of built and natural environments, maximize the public good, and minimize potential adverse effects. Accuracy and rigor. I do believe that engineering, just as teaching professionals, have a duty to acquire and use wisely the understanding, knowledge and skills needed to perform their role. Always act with care. You need to be competent. Perform services only in areas in which they are currently competent. Keep your knowledge and skills up to date. We often complain in my faculty in Leuven because people, once they have their degree, then for about, you have to teach, you have a professional career for about 30, 40 years, but they never update their knowledge. Yeah. In whatever field, be it theology, be it mathematics, be it, you know how important it is to know that the education technology, this is rapidly evolving, and it could be a very good support upon condition that it is well integrated. If you learn languages, English, you could do a lot with education technology in languages. I learned to see that you have these programs who are correcting the spelling, and so on. It's not a replacement. One of my students was about if you have to submit a thesis, let us say, the thesis has to undergo a thoroughly thin check, plagiarism. Yeah? And he was telling me, honestly, I was doubting if everything he wrote was his own work. He was telling honestly to me, sorry professor, but I'm sure that there is no plagiarism in it. I was a bit amazed. I was looking to him, are you very much sure? Sometimes as a teacher you are, yeah, okay. I used a paraphrasing program. A paraphrasing program instead of writing yourself. Because that's ever new challenge. I never heard from a paraphrasing program. And if you have to compose a one-page paper, for instance in English, in language, yeah, of course, the easiest way is to take something from the internet and then put it in a paraphrase program, and it's done, it's fixed in 10 minutes. That's not the goal of it. There's these kind of updating knowledge, skills, knowing what is available to the best and to the worst in education technology is very much of importance. And finally, leadership and communication. Engineering teaching professionals have a duty to abide by and promote high standards of leadership and communication. This is expected from engineers, this is expected from teachers. Be aware of the issues that engineering teaching technology raise for society, listen to aspiration, concerns of others, promote equality, diversity and inclusion, promote public awareness, be objective and truthful in any statement, made in your professional capacity, because youngsters are taking over your words. The staff knows this. Because you have to be careful in the way you speak about things. It should be nuanced, it should be proportional, it should be truth-seeking. Not blaming when there is no ground for blaming and so on. Because that kind of speech is taken. And challenge statement or policies that cause professional concern. So, there are two more slides, but these are more, let us say, for the British context. For engineers, they have a code of conduct and a professional registration and a kind of postgraduates in engineering ethics. Just this class, the role of education. Even engineers are saying it has been agreed that a greater focus on ethics during the development and progression of engineers and teachers should be overseen by educators. The measures proposed in the report will increase awareness of ethical issues within the profession and aim to improve engineers' ability to deal with and call out bad practice. Same could be in a similar way said about the teaching profession. For engineers, there are also practical challenges. I will not deal with it. There are also unresolved challenges, and I would invite you to think, to develop a little bit the same that we say for the teaching profession. For sure, we will find similar things, but more suited for the engineering profession. And the question about responsibility, because when we achieve leadership, taking up leadership role, if this is the goal of our education, we should bring in a kind of mentality, let us say, by making it possible that people themselves, after training, feel themselves responsible for what they are doing, not blaming somebody else, but taking up responsibility for societal challenges. So, I would like to stop here. I'm very much looking forward for the questions. Thank you. sit down. What will you? You have to sit there. Okay. Thank you.
Next we have the interactive section. So I request anyone having question to please stand up.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning.
Myself Lakshmi. I'm studying the Natural Science option. So I'm having a small doubt, sir. What are the measures taken to show ethical stance, and how do we validate those?
How many?
How do we validate those?
Because it's about ethical stats. Sorry, not. Could you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. What are the measures taken to show ethical stance, and how do we validate those?
You must be in mathematics when you speak about when you speak about validation. We cannot validate, of course, the character of people. That's and we all know that the primary formators are the values and the context in which they are, let's say, have been as a child. You can change a little bit, I believe. There are indeed. There are, let's say, there are methods to help people changing their mentality or their character. You cannot do everything, so to say, but you have to model, young people to become. It's always a question of becoming. Because it's not so much focusing on the ethics of being, I would say, but on the ethics of doing, but on the ethics of being. Transforming a character has to do with a kind of, I would say, seductive approach methodologies. Bringing in another perspective, confronting people with the truth, sometimes if needed. It's as teachers are, I guess, sometimes you have to be very kind and very merciful, and sometimes you have to be very radical. Young people have to experience that. Let's say, they always have to experience a kind of affirmation and support and a kind of, let's say, the goodwill of the teacher to help them. But sometimes, if they show inappropriate behavior, it should be very clear to them that you do not accept this. Because it's always between justice and mercy, one of the two focus points in Christian ethics, so to say. And you have to be just. You have to be just. When you get mocked, you cannot, sometimes you are also confronted with people, let us say, asking Professor, please, could you give me a good mark? Because, sorry, I cannot give you a good mark unless you give a good answer. Because you have to be just. This is very important, of course. Because they must feel from you as teachers, the teaching staff, that you are honest and integral, and that it does not matter who they are. What matters is their knowledge and, let us say, what they put, because this is also expected when they would like to become a teacher. Measures, I'm not in the pedagogy, I'm only an ethicist, but maybe another question. Feel free.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
My name is Hannah. I have a very small question for you. Is there a need to keep or follow the ethical standards as time passes? Is there a need to change them?
Is there a change in ethical standards, you mean?
Is there a need to change the ethical standards as time passes?
What do we have in mind? We must have something specific in mind.
For example, in architecture, in past we used clay and other soil and stuff to build the stuff, buildings and walls and all.
Now we are using cement and things. So likewise, do we need to change the ethical standards now?
You have to distinguish, let us say, knowledge about materials and ethical standards. So ethical standards or, let us say, standards which show what I'm telling about accuracy and rigor. You are not familiar probably with Thomas Aquinas, but obviously will be familiar with systems also. He wrote in the 13th century, was very accurate, very precise. Was very much interested in reason. And even from a faith perspective, you may not tell anything that should be based in reason. There is a relationship. Because that's very much, yeah. And of course, with regard to knowledge of nature, I would say, be it biology, be it, let's say, characteristics, physical characteristics of new materials, new minerals, whatever. Let us say solution that's not given forever. What explains the changing solutions with regard to right and wrong? Technology, evolutions in sciences. This is very much influencing. Let us say what, I give you one example to make it clear. Agriculture, you know agriculture. Yeah. In general, I can say a couple of things with regard to agriculture. You should respect biodiversity, you should, and so on. But when it comes to, you know that since the 1960s only, we are using fertilizers, we are using herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, yeah? And we need them because you know that not only weeds, but most often fungi could, for the people who are in biology, could destroy your tools, could destroy your rats, could destroy, because you need fungicides in order to protect yields. Technology not always functions as it should be. A technology problem. Would that be, it's a bit of a technical answer, but for instance, you ever have new questions and this what is right, what is wrong, it's not given, or you in favor of or against genetic modification for the people who are in biology, natural sciences? Are you in favor of or against genetic engineering? I would say it's not black and white. You cannot say as such genetic engineering is wrong. Unless you are an ecocentric, and there are a lot of ecocentric thinking people in India, I know, who are rejecting. You must know that the previous Pope in 2008 always has said, let us say, I do think that genetic engineering of plants, that this is wrong. It's transforming the nature of nature. But the inventors of something which is dear to me, the two inventors, Potrykus and Weil, German and Swiss, who invented, do you know what kind of innovation? It's would be applicable here. It's the project on the vitamin A. Vitamin A enriched rice. Vitamin A enriched rice. You know you can through genetic modification you can enter vitamins or minerals into plants. Is this? He was saying to the Pope, sorry, I'm a Catholic. I do believe that I have to do this. And the Pope was shocked. With regard to right and wrong. He said, oh, I did not know that these kind of applications are also offered by let's say, nowadays we are using the CRISPR-Cas method to go fast. He invited 40 Catholic scientists in genetics and genetics to come to Rome the next year and to have a meeting for 1 week with the Pontifical Council for Sciences. And since then, check it in Laudato Si, the popes are never saying that genetic engineering of plants is not allowed. They have a lot of questions, and you could have a lot of questions with regard to right and wrong, but not condemning the technology as such, which is a good position, I think. I'm looking at the sisters here. We can have a nice debate. But you see, with regard to right and wrong, it's good and bad, we know, in general terms, but it's newer technology like the CRISPR-Cas, like genetic engineering, which is, and that's more details, which you have to learn also to schools. It's let's say, it needs some more nuanced judgment than just saying, and so it is for many things, with regard to drone technology, with regard to many systems.
Hello sir, I am Sister Sneha. We are lucky to have such a noble and eminent person like you. May I ask a question? As we are stepping on to the teaching profession, what is the significance of ethical decision making in our teaching profession?
I would say, in Europe we learned through modernity, we have focused a bit too much on values and not so much on virtues. The virtue approach is more familiar with your ancient tradition, let us say, and it's much more, you feel it, let's say, you are better equipped than people in Europe, because the virtual tradition is paying attention to the whole character, to the whole person, to who you are. This is important. And when you are, let us say, in moral education, then we say, it's, let us say, the person is more important, is even more important. Opinions are not unimportant, but who you are is more important to young people than what you are saying. Because I strongly believe that, say, the person you are, the way you relate to them, the way you speak about them, your positive appraisal. I have been raised by Don Bosco, the Salesians, and the Salesians have a particular approach, so to say, of young people. Which is very, let's say, it's very stimulating to young people. It's not very much condemning. The Jesuits have another approach, because you have to choose somewhere at school. Each teacher's training should use its own. The Jesuits are very much in terms of academic excellence, and it's all about grades and okay. But there is a good reason why you have a kind of similar environment, I would say, which I like very much. The Jesuits, during their training, are obliged, you could only become a Jesuit when you are 32, 35, because they are obliged to follow, to do two things. They study philosophy and theology, but they are also obliged to follow at least a master degree in sciences. For instance, a good friend of me studied mathematics, a master degree in mathematics. Some are medical doctors, some are engineers, and so on. And because they strongly believe that this combination you have in this school, because they strongly believe that a rational mind, or a more rational mind, is a more structured mind, a more ordered mind. You have goals, you have ambitions, you have to make them true. If you have a class of 50 minutes, you know what you will do, you are prepared. Because this is a Jesuit stuff, not the Salesians were a little bit, that's another way of approaching. But I do find it, the combination you have, the combination is very effective. Yeah? This, okay. Thank you.
Madam Professor, myself Kavya. I have a question. Could you please explain the main challenges of safeguarding ethics?
The main challenges
Safeguarding ethics, letter 223.
of
Safeguarding ethics.
safeguarding. What do you have in mind? To protect them. What kind of protection do you? Sorry, I'm not. What kind of protection? Protecting yourself, protecting the children, protecting. As a teacher, protecting.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, she meant that while in a teaching classroom, what can be a teacher can do to make aware the students about this safeguarding. So that is what she meant.
About facing.
Sorry, sir.
Facing what?
Facing what about how can they protect themselves about this contemporary situations and all aspects of it that and
You mean facing contemporary challenges? in
yes,
society?
yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you may not do what I am doing today. You should start with, I would say, societal challenge. That is, you know, when you teach to theology students, then you have to refer to church documents and Laudato Si and so on, Laudato Si in practice. But when you teach to engineering students with a more scientific mind, I never start with Laudato Si, because then, but I show them, for instance, some of you will be aware, the most recent report of the IPCC, February 2022. Yeah. In the annex, it's 100 pages of graphs, and they give predictions, so to say, about the impact, first of all, the different scenarios. February 2022, the most recent update of thousands and thousands of scientists. Let's see, it's not an evidence, but it is the impact of temperature raise, which is now 2022 1.1 degrees Celsius. One is expecting IPCC is the huge, let us say, the highest authority in the world from sciences, which could be of use. They are expecting by 2030 1.5 degrees warming. The Paris Agreement spoke about maximum 1.5 by 2100. Okay, we will reach it by 2030, according to that report. So it will not stop by 2030. Maybe we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The projection is now to stop it by 2050, zero emission, which is a huge challenge, so to say, for everyone who is teaching, for everyone who is doing research in different fields. Zero emission, greenhouse gases, you should have to learn students, but normally they know it already, what greenhouse gases are, what the impact is, or more dangerous gases, and so on. These kind of things is presupposed. But then, let us say there are a lot of predictions. What will be the impact? I remember a particular slide, the impact on rice production from 2040 onwards in different parts of the world. What will be the impact on migration, social sciences? What will be the impact on water availability and water use? What will be the impact, let us say, on biodiversity and forestation and deforestation, and so on and so on. Because when you teach to more scientific minds, let us say you have to do the opposite. Take the entrance of a scientific report, which is understandable for them, and then come to the ethical choices which are needed in order to get a more sustainable future and in order to avoid the, let me say, the disaster scenarios, and which order. I mean, not, this is the truth, scientific truth. The starting from the scientific truth, or let us say from the present position, is a good starting point to teach people who have a more scientific mind, and then come with Laudato Si and with the other way around. That's what I would suggest. Okay.
Due to time issue, this is the last question. I invite anyone from the staffs, teaching staff.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
As you said in one of the slides, there will be a spurt of technology by 2030 or 2040. So my question is that, will technology ever replace teachers? What is your opinion?
No. Technology will not replace teachers. But it's an interesting question. Technology will help teachers. That's the way I see it now. But, you know, there are a lot of courses which you can follow elsewhere in the world, sitting behind your computer. Okay. That will be helpful for your knowledge, so to say, but it will not form your character. I'm still thinking. But I'm living in 2022 because I don't know what will happen. But I know for sure that technology, if professionally applied, will be of help for the teaching profession. Because I invite you all to, I see that the science started in 1984, which is less than 40 years ago. I'm becoming an old man. My first computer, it was an Italian one, Olivetti, and I could remember one sentence. And then at the end of the 1980s, we started with floppy disks on which you could store 8 pages of pieces. And see where we are now. It's unbelievable. Because it opens perspective. You should make use of it. For sure. You can do in physics and mathematics. You can show that you can then exercise, let us say. If it is done in an intelligent way, it's very, younger people are like to do that. It's also a kind of the attractiveness of there's a good integration and a clear goal, let us say. You know, there is also the science about education. I'm not very familiar with it, but people who are familiar, I'm looking to the staff here, who are following those very recent materials, you could orient yourself and say what kind of approach integrating technology is stimulating students and has positive effects and what is devastating. Just as the example I have given about the program which in order to avoid plagiarism, that's of course not a good example. And so on and so on.
Okay, good presentation, sir. My question is somewhat connected with this, maybe or may not be. Can you express some of the important positive elements that seen in Indian culture that is not seen in Belgian culture?
Yep. I'm amazed by the fact that there are two things which are one of important. I don't know about the older generation, but the older generation is, in my view, much more skilled in technology. The technological skills are much better. I do not know if they have it from school, but it's unbelievable. What kind of this? You have a better understanding, and you could more easily make use of mobile phone technology, for instance, or exercising whatever language they say. They will take it up. They will take it up much easier than in Europe. That's one thing. And the second thing is with regard to the teachers training. I do believe that with regard to particular attitudes which are necessary for the teacher, that you live in a culture which at the same time has huge challenges in terms of development and economics and business and so on. But you live in a culture which is not only very open for technology, like the biggest entrepreneurs, Tata, Mittal Steel, are also active in Belgium. That is just to know. But you're living in a culture that is, which still keeps or still has, and it is your context, it's also your culture, is very open to the necessary virtues. I was mentioning the Royal Academy of Engineering would not mention, let us say, rigor, truthworthy, integrity, and so on, when there will not be a need for that. Because I do believe that in your culture you are more open to virtue-based education, which is also important. Believe me, not only Germany, but also in Belgium, we do have thousands and thousands of Indian engineers. You are amazing by your knowledge. And it's in particular your knowledge about sciences. That's highly praised. You know, yeah, you should be proud about what you are doing. We have a shortage of engineers. Also in nursing, there's a problem that with regard to engineering, for instance, microelectronics, IMEC, we have a world-known institute there, 7,000 people around the world who are working there in microelectronics. I do believe that among thousands of them coming from India have been trained here. Be proud of what you are doing.
With this, we have come to the end of the interactive session. Next, I invite Ashwini P for the feedback.
Good morning, everybody. Respected our resource person, Johan sir, our honorable principal, Dr. Chako Charumadri, teachers and all my dear friends. Today, we had a wonderful session, and first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our resource person for giving his valuable time, and also Father for organizing this wonderful session for us. It's really excellent, informative, and helpful. And at the first time when I saw the brochure, I thought that a little bit confusion. That means I thought that I was not sure whether I could follow this topic because it is almost related with the engineering. And also at the same time I thought that it might suit to the physical science option and all. But after attending this session, I realized that it is not only suitable to the physical science option but also to everybody. Because he has presented this session very very smoothly, or any ordinary person can understand what he is presenting. Thank you, sir. Really nice session. And finally, he touched the genetic engineering also. Actually, I am doing B.Ed in natural science option, and I have a biological background. So, I really got relief when I heard the genetic engineering. And almost overall, I can say that it's really wonderful session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ashwini. Next, I invite Shruti S. Nair for the feedback.
Respected Professor, good afternoon. So first of all, let me thank you for taking effort to come here, because our manager mentioned that you have a very tight schedule, and even then you found time out of that and you came here. Thank you so much. And to tell about the session, it was a very engaging and very informative one, and it is one of the best seminars I have attended. And then you are very knowledgeable and very well versed about the topic that you are handling with, and you have succeeded. I should say that you have succeeded in your topic reached us too. We understand about what you are telling, and thank you so much. Then, yeah, it was really indeed a very informative and engaging session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti. Next, I invite Reverend Dr. Chako Chirmal and Reverend Dr. Shiju Chitlavali for giving away the token of love from our Mahajuli family to our chief guest. Welcome, Father. We are very thankful to have you, Professor. Next, I now invite Mr. Johnson PP, Assistant Professor in Education, for vote of thanks.
Good morning, respected and our most distinguished chief guest today, Professor John D. Tanya, respected Assistant Manager Dr. Father Shiju Chichilapudi, respected Principal Dr. Father Chako Chairman, our beloved Staff Secretary Mrs. Rosemary C. Peter, our beloved Assistant Professor Mrs. Anne Chokshi, honorable teachers and my dear students. I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks or who has helped us in making this seminar such a resounding success. First of all, I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Professor Jan T. Tanya, for excellent presentation and making this seminar interesting and meaningful. With your permission, let me try to give my thanks in German language. Thank you, my dear. Here, I thought I would like to express our profound gratitude to our Assistant Manager, Dr. Father Shiju Chichilapudi, handing on our chief guest from Belgium for us and your inaugural address. Father, thank you. I would like to express my profound gratitude to our principal, Dr. Father Chako Chairman. Father, your presence itself is really blessings and motivation. Father, thank you for your presentation. I would also like to thank our beloved Staff Secretary, Mrs. Rosemary Peter, for her moral support and guidance. Teacher, thank you. Let me give thanks to our Assistant Professor, Mrs. Anchor C., for her profound reading. I would like to thank sisters for your participation. Thank you, sisters. I'm very happy to express word of thanks to our staff members who have made this seminar a grand success. I would like to thank the volunteers who have been running around doing a lot of things. Thank you so much. Finally, the wonderful students who have participated here. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Once again, I thank all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you.
Now, let us all raise up for the national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गादा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता
international seminar is over. Give a good clap to and after this session, we have arranged tea and snacks for all of you. So take it and happy, more we can go. So the group is dismissed. Thank you very much.